edge rusher's gone.
Well, wouldn't I want the best player in the league?
All right, you're gonna.
Hey, let's get to Garry.
I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Hey, I know you're.
All right, you have a good segment. Let me see. I'll see what Cobb says.
I appreciate it. Make sure you check Big Z out.
All right, thanks everybody.
John McMullen, awesome stuff. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's bring in our friend Garry Cobb from Fox 29. Big Seals is getting killed everywhere. I'm on CNN the other day for taking a shit on me here because I had a horrible Barkley take. Garry.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's get to the news of the day here. Before I get to this Miles Garrett here, how much of a loss do you think Doug Musmeyer is to the offense and to the play caller, and how important will it be, and who that guy is named if it is Kevin Patullo, the new OC in Philadelphia? Just your takeaway on it.
Well, I think that without a doubt, it's a big chance. You don't know, but from what I understand, and I know that he definitely, with Kellen Moore, he was a guy that he was running everything by. So they're kind of like that. So I know that, he was part of the intelligence that got them, the championship that they have. So from what I understand, they're like two peas in a pod. Everybody knew that once Kellen Moore left, he was going to go to. And, sometimes coaches have that type of relationship. So it just means that, they got to do a great job of coming up with somebody to replace them. Because really those guys go together, they got very close relationship. And from what I understand, he had as much to do with calling the plays that Kellen Moore ran everything by him. So, if a guy's with you and his heart is somewhere else, he might as well be somewhere else. So he probably should leave with Kellen Moore because they were that close. So that's understandable. But it means the Eagles have got to, I would say, they examine everybody that's on the staff, but there's not a guarantee that the guy that they need is on the staff. See? But I think because of the fact that they just won the championship, that, hey, if I'm a play caller and I could come here and be right in the middle of everything, there are a lot of guys you figure that would be willing to leave a job with a bad team to come here with a team that's got a chance to win the whole thing. So I think that they still have a very attractive situation, and it's just a matter of them going to work and getting the right person who fits the talent that they have. See,
how about this though, Garry? The last time they elevated from within was a disaster.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not all crazy about just elevating, from within, because most of these guys now, there's got to be the right guy, but they've got to be exceptional because they have not been, they haven't been the ones really calling the shots, because really the two people that were running the offense just are taking off. See, so I would probably be leaning more to going outside, and finding somebody that is they've got to have a strong personality. They got to be very confident. But I don't guarantee just promoting from within. I don't buy into that. I
think this bleeds more into Frank Reich than what people think, and I'll tell you why, Garry.
I agree.
How about this, Garry? I mean, the question I think now that you're going to look, and also too, TJ Pagnetti, the assistant run game guy, is now gone to New Orleans. He's now the new offensive line coach. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's been there since 2017. He came in with Jeff Stoutland. So now they lose an assistant in the offensive coaching staff there, another one on top of that. And I say this to you, Garry, how much of the passing game, somebody asked me what I thought the hole on the team was going into the offseason. I go, well, it's the passing game. You want to evolve it. You want to get better. I mean, how much do you want to get better with it? And doesn't that dictate on who you hire? Because if I bring in Kevin Patullo, how much more are they really going to elevate the passing game? 2%? 1%? Are they going to stick to what they did a year ago? Because the passing game, Garry, let's face it, the passing game, they were not balanced. They did not have the balance that you're looking week in and week out for them to be able to elevate next year. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you, and I think that they got to be thinking, look at all this talent we got to throw the ball to. I mean, we need to be able to make things easier. And are we expecting Saquon to carry the ball as much as he did this past year and carry this offense? I don't think it's reasonable to be continuing to expect that or asking that of him, because what is he going to be at the end of the season, as he's getting older? So I would say you would like to bring somebody in that can take this passing game to the next level and make it consistent. Now, you still got Saquon there. You still got a great offensive line. So you still have that run threat there. But it's got to be more balanced, which will make stuff easier. It's going to make scoring easier. So I would say that they need to look around, the NFL, and I would lean towards them bringing somebody from outside rather than promoting from within. I'm not sold on the promote from within because, the guys that are here, they were not calling the offense. The two guys that were running that offense are leaving. And so they need to really think about getting somebody from outside, as far as I'm concerned.
How about this, Gary? We had a debate today, and we've been talking about this. Second landing place that's favored by the Vegas guys and by many people around the NFL is Philly next to Washington. Washington has a ton of money. They're going to be able to free up. Gary, this is what really makes Howie great. There's no guaranteed money for these players. These are some of the top players they have. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, Dallas Goedert, Bradbury will be cut. Brandon Graham, Cam Jurgens, Nakobe Dean, Tyler Steen. None of these players have guaranteed money heading into the 2025 season. So I ask you, what would you be willing to give up for a guy like Miles Garrett? Or would you stand pat? And as you know, having turnover is one of the things a lot of organizations don't like to do. They don't like the word turnover. Yeah. They like to be able to elevate and player develop. Would you stick to what you're doing with your guys, go in the draft? Could you imagine you end up putting, we'll just use Nolan. If you think Nolan could be in the deal, you got Nolan Smith, Myles Garrett, and you've got Jalen Carter, and you have Jordan Davis. That's your front four. I mean, and you put those backers that you had a year ago in there. I mean, Gary, you elevated your defense, and you're gonna continue to improve on your defensive side. That's the side of the ball I think they have to continue to improve on. Not the offense. They just got to get smoother on offense. Yeah, what would you do?
Man, that's that's a tough decision. My goodness. But man, because having him there coming off that corner, man.
Gary, 7 years in a row, he's averaged 14 or more sacks.
I mean, the guy's a monster. He plays hard. He would be great, a leader for the younger guys. He's he's not a diva. He would be a guy, boy. I mean, I would entertain really making the deal. I would really entertain making the deal because I'd say he got 2-3 years, big time years left, and the other team got to double team him. I mean, who are they going to double? They got to double team. They can't double team all those guys.
If you had Carter and Myles Garrett on the same line, and get this too. Here's what I just told Xander. I just said this to him. The Eagles elevated the running game by having a guy like Barkley. If you put Garrett on that side of the defense, that's like Saquon Barkley going on that side. As good as Nolan Smith will never be that player.
No, he's not going to be. Yeah.
He's not going to be that player for the next 3 years. You're telling me you're talking about 40 sacks in 3 years. What that would mean to that defense, where they're limited already at defensive end and rushing. Now, they were better in the playoffs. Boy, but I'll tell you, man, I mean, this guy's a first ballot. I would say this to you, Gary.
Yeah, he is. He's a first ballot. He's a first ballot. You're right.
Myles Garrett's probably the third best player in the league.
He could be.
Position.
You know, you could be right. I mean, he is a dominant force every time. You know, whether you're double teaming or not, he's a force in the game, and he's been that way for years. So he definitely is nothing to sneeze about. The thing about it is I look at what they did, and this is why you know, you would rather be able to. I mean, it's tempting, but
Yeah.
you would rather be able to develop young players who you don't have to pay yet. You don't have to pay them yet. So that's something to think about, man. That's a tough.
Hey, Gary, you and I walk by a Ferrari dealership all the time. We look over and go, God, I'd love to have that car, but you know, I'm gonna stick with my Acura. So you know, I mean, I'm gonna, you know, you walk by that Ferrari place, you see that Dino every day, and you're like, damn, I wish I could have that. There's certain things though, and I'm just good with my little old Acura over here, so I'm good with it.
Well,
you know,
the thing is, you know, your bank account is healthier. See, you know, your bank account is healthier
right
without you going over there. So I do know what you're saying, and you know, but you know, I think that, you know, if you keep the same guys there that are working with your defensive line, boy,
Oof.
those guys, look how much better those guys got during the season. I mean, to where they finish off with the performance they had in the Super Bowl. Now, look, those guys weren't playing like that at the beginning of the season. I'm telling you, some of the guys, you say, you know what? I need to put you on a bus, you know, to somewhere else. You know, you look at some of the players, some of these same guys. That's why the teaching, the assistant coach are working with these guys. They really are the reason that this team just got so much better as the season went on defensively. Come on. That was not the same defense that started the season.
Yeah.
Not even close. But all these players, the defensive line improved drastically, the linebackers improved drastically, and the DBs, all of them grew up during the season, which is something I have never seen anything like that. I mean, maybe I saw something kind of like that in college, because you know, you see a college kid maybe develop, but it's not as complicated a game.
Yeah.
You know, but amazing job. Now, if they can do this again, where you can go get some young players and you get these guys to develop them, and at the end of the season you got a defense like that, you know, then we don't need Myles. We can make without Myles, but that's tempting. It depends on how much it costs. You know, how much does it cost in the quality of players you got to get rid of? You know.
Wow, Gary wanted to send a couple guys on a bus to Piscataway. All right. Hey. All right.
But that's something to think about. And I know Howie's sitting there right now at his desk thinking about this. You know?
All right. How about this one here? Words going around that because there's no guaranteed money. You know, Howie likes to get ahead of the process.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, an extension, 3 years, $27 million. My problem with that is this. He's never played an entire season in Philadelphia, not ending up on the IR.
Yeah.
He's ended every year on the IR. He proved this year, Gary, he can play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Inside that system. But my question would be, and we don't know they're saying he's going to miss the first month of the season heading into this year. So
yeah, I heard that.
How do you look at him and his future?
Well, I think he has a value, because I don't know if they're going to be able to bring Zach Bourne back. I don't know if they're going to be able to sign him. I'll tell you. In fact, I would really go on to say I think they're not going to be able to sign Zach Bourne, because I think he's going to get on the high, you know, more than 15. I think he's going to get a year. I think he's going to get that somebody's going to give him that.
Washington.
And, you know, and if they give him, I don't know that the Eagles can match that.
Or how about this? Willing to want to match that. Because I'll tell you what I would, Gary, I would go get that kid either Bolton or Dre Greenlaw and you put Dre Greenlaw, Oren Burks, and Nakobe Dean in the middle with those two defensive tackles.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, do you think that here? Let's ask the question about Bond. You think he was a product of the system, the product of the two guys playing in front of him? Obviously, he showed great ability to be able to adapt to that defense and play great. But how do you know he's not a one-year wonder?
Well, and that's why I think that's why I was talking about the go and get that inexpensive car. I'm telling you, I think that's the way they're going to go, because they're not going to be able to sign everybody, you know. And I think they're going to be thinking, can we develop these players? And so because I think they're going to let some of those guys walk, man. I do not think they're going to.
Josh Sweat is supposedly a market value of $18.2 million.
Hey, stay in touch. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. There's no way they can give him that kind of money, man.
Milton Williams' number is 12.4. I think he's going to get 20.
Now, I don't see how you're going to be able to keep those guys. You're going to have to.
If you go get Myles, Gary, there's only $79 million left on that contract. You let those other three guys walk, draft a kid in the draft, put him on a rookie deal. You got him at 1.5 a year with that rookie contract. You got Miles Garrett. You got a rookie playing the other end, and you got Josh Sweat, and you got Jordan Davis in the middle in there. And potentially, like you said, if you want to spend more money, you go put Zach Bond back in the middle.
Yeah, I think they're going to go that way. I don't know whether it's going to be with the linebacker position or the defensive line, but they're going to go on the young and cheap. I think they're going to have to do that. There's no way they're going to be able to pay all those guys, and it's a matter of who do they want to let walk. You know, and that's something to think about, because I think Zach Bond, you know, I think he's legit, man. The guy's because a lot of the things he's doing on instincts and smarts, not where just because he's a great athlete, smart, you know, and that kind of thing, it doesn't leave, you know, it doesn't leave. So I think, you know, he plays smart football, and he really helped the whole defense play smart football, because a lot of times he was calling the signals and things and being able to keep people in the right, get them in the right spot, put them in the right defense, and have them lined up right, depending on what they're looking at with their offense, the opposing offense. So I think he could redo that. I think he could have another great year, but there's no way they're not going to be able to keep all these guys, man. They're going to have to play with some young players again this year, and so some of those guys are definitely going to walk. It's just a matter of who's going to walk.
Let me go here then. Here. Is he back, or is he on the market, Josh Sweat?
On the market.
On the market. Zach Bond.
I'll say he's back.
Zach Bond's back. Okay.
Yeah, but
Becton.
Becton's going to have to walk. I don't see how they're going to sign money more than that.
$12.2 million. His number is. That's for a right guard, Gary.
That's not bad. That's not that bad, really. You know, at that guard position. But the thing is, they're spending so much money with all the other guys. I don't see how you can keep. I don't see how you can keep him.
Milton Williams, is he here or gone? Wow, gone.
Because, you know, what he's going to want 15, right?
Oh, he's 15 to 20.
He's 15 to 20. I don't, you know,
Javon Hargrave got 20.
Yeah, I know. Howie's been able to work miracles, but I don't know how you keep these guys that want $20 million. I don't see how you can pay them. Where you got all those guys on the offensive line making 20. You know, you got all these other guys making money. I don't see how, you know, maybe Howie can work it out, but I don't see how you do it. And I think you're going to have some young players. They're going to have to step in quite a few of those positions. on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to have to step in there, and they're going to have to be developed. And hopefully we'll get the same thing we got last year.
Hey, Kerry, all I'll say in closing here is that, everyone's like, well, the Eagles have the best O-line. Well, that's because it's the richest O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, the left tackle's making $21 million. The left guard's making 20.
That's right.
You got the center on a rookie deal. If you want to keep Becton, you're going to pay him $12.2, and the right tackle makes $25 million. Well, shit, man. You better have the best O-line.
That's right.
Get your money's return there, man. Get this.
That's right.
2, 4, 6, 8. You're spending almost $100 million of your $275 million salary cap on 5 dudes.
Yeah. That's amazing. You know what? That the offense is going to have, they got to carry the show, man. And of course you got in that backfield, those guys making money, and look at the receivers. So that's the highest paid offense in the league.
Oh, by far. Last one here for you, Gary. I threw this out. Tell me if you'd be a fan of this. So Najee Harris is a free agent. He's going to want between $6 and $8 million. All right. Saquon Barkley had over 424 touches this last year.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you want to change the offense. Can you imagine having Najee Harris and Barkley running the ball for you with Hurts back there with that O-line? You sign him to a 2-year contract. I don't know what not. He's gained 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. About 1,100 yards in Pittsburgh. He's 26 years old. You put Najee back there to keep the treads on Barkley. He's your main horse. I'm not saying he's not. Najee is back there with him, helping him out. Maybe you win another Super Bowl with the same style of offense.
Maybe
you increase your market value. What people don't get, Gary, the hidden gem with the Eagles is this. Last year, Mekhi Becton signed a contract for $2.7 million. He's going to go on the open market and look for near $13 million. Look at the market value. Look at Zach Bond. He signed a $2.5 million contract, or $1.8 million. Now he's going to get potentially $15 million. If you play in Philly, you're going to improve your market value. So that's what I do if I'm Najee. Would you be open to something like that?
I would be open to something like that. I definitely, and that's the way I would be out there selling these guys. I'm going, look, you can find a better place to showcase your talents than come in here. We're going to be going after another title. You come in here. We can't pay you that money this year, but you're going to be getting paid next year, buddy. If you come here, and we're going to have you in the spotlight. So that is a way to sell the team, and I do think it's something that they're going to try to do. But again, the key is going to be the young players that are on the team right now, and these young ones they draft. They're going to have to develop. They're going to have to develop players because they're not going to be able to pay all those guys on that defensive line. So they got to develop them. So hopefully they'll do as good a job this year as they did this past year. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Gary, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you coming.
Hey, tell them they can send, you tell them they can send some of that money this way too.
hey, man. We were just born. Hey, now get this too, Gary. 71 guys make an NFL team. Okay, when you and I were there, 47, 43 guys were on a roster.
Hey, man.
70, Gary, you'd play for 30 years if you played in today's NFL.
Believe me.
71 players make a team, counting the practice squad.
Hey, I don't even want to comment, man.
Hey, Gary, and those practice squad guys make $300,000.
Yeah, I know. Woo! They're getting paid. Hey, this is what we fought for. So hey, tell them to spend that money wisely.
That's for damn sure. Gary, thank you, brother.
All right, hey, have a good one.
You got it. The great Gary Cobb from Fox 29. Make sure you check him out. Yeah, today in the NFL, 71 players make a team. 71. Okay? I mean, back when we were in the league, man, 43 made it. 47, 43, something like that. 45 guys. I forget. It was in there somewhere. I think it's great, though. I'm not belly aching. I'm glad that the young guys have, more jobs. And if they get this 18th game, they're probably going to add more to the rosters. They should have them. like you said, it's kind of what you fight for, man. You want all these guys to have opportunities. Plus, there's another league now, the UFL, the Arena League starting up again. So it's all good, man. Absolutely. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We are going to talk about some of the draft picks, also what to do with some of these draft picks. But our good friends at BetUS, boy, man, we've had a great season with them, and all the places that you want to do any kind of business with when it comes to putting money down and making prop bets and such, it's our friends at BetUS. Make sure you check out our YouTube 150. Its sign-in bonuses up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. The fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, live wagering on all major games. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.